What up, YouTube world? Um, Contest response. Just rolled through a list. Double R, The Godfather. Ricky Russo, got a little contest for ya. Capiche, capiche. Video response only. So that's he's rolling that off today. So if you see this, you want to get in amongst it, I'd say jump on the grenade because it's gonna fucking it's go time. I know I waited too long, like usual, but getting amongst it. My team, San Diego Chargers, San Diego Superchargers. We haven't had much success. I started following them in '90. I was 10. Seo was the main reason I jumped aboard because I loved Seo in college. Again, back in the collegiate days, they had the cutoff jersey where it wasn't you had to have it. You could show the stomach, and I mean, it looked badass, and he looked badass. So when the Chargers took him, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be my team. Jump over from the Packers since there's no success there. Tony Mandrich. So I'm gonna go through, and I've got numerous players. At the key positions, and then a few at the other positions, just because, again, they didn't have a ton of success. They had some success under Don Coryell. Air Coryell back in the day, and then for a long time after those days, there was really no success up until the early / mid '90s when they went to the Super Bowl and got their asses hammered by the Niners. Go figure, you get your ass hammered by San Francisco. Anyway, here we go. Quarterback. Dan Fouts, Phillip Rivers. As pissy whiny as Rivers is, again. He's had a lot of success with the team. Running back. Paul Lowe, back in the day. Natron Means. I gotta put one of my favorites in there of all time. And LaDainian Tomlinson. Fullback, there'd only be one, and there's Lorenzo Neal was a human battering ram. Receiver. Gary Garrison is probably their first decent receiver. Had a couple 1,000-yard seasons way back in the day. 58 touchdowns receiving. And his yards per catch were like, I don't know, they eclipsed 20 yards a catch 3-4 seasons, so obviously a deep ball threat. Sort of what Malcolm Floyd, except on a more consistent level, has been for the Chargers over the last 4 years or so. Wes Chandler, Vincent Jackson, Charlie Joyner, and their best receiver of all time, Bambi, Lance Allworth. Their best receiving options have been tight ends of all time. The two of the top 10, I'd say, Kellen Winslow and Antonio Gates. Tackle, Von Parker was a stalwart in the 90s. Russ Washington, and then Ron Mix, who I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. I know he's in a lot of the like the National Treasures type sets or the Upper Deck Legends sets. I want to say he's a Hall of Famer right now. Off the top of my head, I cannot tell you yay or nay. Guard, Walt Sweeney and Chris Dielman. Centers, Courtney Hall, mid 90s, late 80s, a stalwart there. Nick Hardwick, who I want to say just retired. He had just a cavalcade of injuries where Long snapper, one of the best in the biz back in the day. Retired in 2010. He was with the Chargers from '94, rookie in their the Super Bowl season. David Bin, number 50 for the Bolts. D end, Ray Lee Johnson, more currentish one, the late 90s, early 2000s. Burt Grossman did well with the Chargers, even as a short career with them, 5-6 years. And then Leslie O'Neal, before he went somewhere else. I don't know if he went to Denver, because it seemed like everybody that was adequate. Anthony Miller, another receiver, he went to Denver in like the 94-95 season. I want to say Leslie O'Neal did too. He took the money and ran, and after he did, he wasn't the same player. D tackle, Chris Mims, Gary Johnson, old schooler. Two guys that played parallel to each other, Jacques Césaire and Luis Castillo from Northwestern. And he didn't do much with them, but a WWE Hall of Famer. Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, played on the team. Linebackers, Lyndon King, Ben Lieber, Billy Ray Smith Jr., Donald Butler, and Seau. There's some other good ones along the way, but again, just the time that they spent with the Chargers was very limited. Donnie Edwards came over from the Chiefs. He was stout. Another D tackle would be Igor Olshansky, a former Oregon Duck, who was pretty stout when he was healthy and able to be on the field. Corners, Gil Bird, Quentin Jammer, Bud Whitehead, old school Bud Whitehead there, I think. He had, like 20 interceptions or so back in the day. Safety, I just chose two, because there was just, for me, two. You go with the past, and you go with Rodney Harrison. You go with the present, you go with Eric Weddle. Kicker, again, past and I wouldn't say present because he's not on the team anymore, but the bridging the gap was John Carney, Sheila McRae. Good night, everybody. Who was just a beast for them the decade from 90 to 2000, and then Nate Special Kading, who had misses at the end of his career, which I'm sure will damper his legacy in some Chargers fans' eyes, but he made a ton of big kicks too. Same with the punters. They get booming legs out there. Darren Bennett, I remember when he came over from the Australian rules football, like 93, 94. He was all the rage then. And then Mike Cyphers, who's been there for, I don't know, 10 years or so. 8-10 years. He's been a Pro Bowler a couple times. And another booming leg. But there you are, Ricky. One of my videos that's actually short as hell. Thanks again for the contest. Again, get amongst it, people, if you haven't. And take her easy, YouTube. She's easy. Take her twice.